start. So hello viewers, welcome. This is the Null here. We're on our last week. This is the finals tonight. I'm Shadow. I'm joined tonight by Munchballs, Asigalas and Solid. And we're here to cast these games for you. We're going to have 2 streams running. You're going to have stream 1, and on that we're going to have the first semi-final between KVGS and Birmingham. And on the second stream you're going to have Manchester versus Cardiff. These will be best of 3 games, so after these are finished, when we have the 2 finalists, we're going to have the final on the first stream, and on the second stream will be a match from the Super 8 promotional player. So this is very big night for everyone. How is everyone? Are you all okay?
I am
good, thanks.
excellent, thank you.
I'm tired, but I'm pumped. I only woke up an hour ago.
So it's gonna, by the time we get kind of the fifth match of the evening, you're gonna be really on form by then.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, nothing but organisation here, obviously, as usual. So other than that, how are you guys feeling about tonight's games? You all excited?
I'm really excited, yeah, I can't wait to see the final, let's see who wins our season, it's going to be exciting.
Huge night, not just for the Super 8 teams, but obviously we have got the playoffs as well, so the division finished top will get the chance to come into this Super 8, and we will be seeing new teams for the next tournament. But let's talk about the 4 teams that are in the semi-finals at the moment. We've got KVGS Kittens, we've got Birmingham Unit, we've got Cardiff, and we've got Manchester. The 2 top, we have Group A and Group B. Cardiff were the winners of Group B, and KVGS were the winners of Group A. Now Manchester won the last tournament, but they finished second in their leagues there. Any thoughts about that? Any surprises there? From anyone? No? Yes?
Sorry, just answering a question from one of the teams, because we're in the lobby now.
Fair enough. Well, obviously Manchester winning it last tournament and then finished second in their division to KVGS Kittens, who were a new team coming into this, was very surprising for most people. They didn't just clinch it, they were very dominating in some of their games. We saw a game last week with 85 kills in by KVGS Kittens, sorry about that, and they were dominant.
Yeah, that was a pretty disgusting game.
That was a strong game, and I mean, I think one of the factors that made it so dominant is that they did have an unconventional strategy of having a kind of a Jarvan and Pantheon top lane, kind of a dunk squad up there, where Jarvan would occasionally go into the jungle just to get the buffs, and then would return straight to lane and just bully that lane out. And he ended up going, I think we're discussing 25-1, and God knows how many assists he got as well. It was just such a strong showing by KVGS. I think it would be wrong to kind of. I think you've got to think that they're going to be kind of favourites in their first match.
Definitely. And who would you say was the favourites between the Manchester-Cardiff game? I'd have to say Manchester, just because they won last tournament and because of how dominant they've been, but we've seen great play from Cardiff as well, also all this tournament long.
I think definitely favourites would be Manchester, but it's not a hugely, impossible game for Cardiff to win. As I was saying before in our previous introduction, like, Cardiff might have been, practicing up against some of the other Super 8 teams because they all want to band together and take down Manchester, so they could have upped their game from last week by a lot. Be ready to go. Definitely.
So, I think in the first stream for our first semi-final, we have actually got all of the players in, so we may be ready to start. Are you guys ready to go on your games yet, or?
We're close to being ready, but we can split off and do our own talk if you want to.
That's fine, yeah. So you guys head over to Stream 2. If anyone wants to catch any of the Stream 2 games, they will be there at twitch.tv/themule2. But other than that, we will shortly be jumping into this game for KVGS Kittens versus Birmingham. So farewell to the other casters, and Munch, how are you feeling?
I am well excited for this game, I cannot wait to kick it off. Obviously I've only done one weekend with Neil so far, but KVGS were my favourite team of that weekend, so I'm really excited to kick that off. Just going to turn my microphone down slightly.
Yeah, I've been apparently you're very loud at the moment, but yeah, definitely. But my favourite game so far that I've casted in this tournament has been the last week's game between KVGS Kittens, and I think they were playing Cardiff at the time, I believe. It may have been Birmingham. No, sorry, it's Manchester Penguins. And that was the game, the 85 kills game. That was just so fun to cast, and it was an absolute dominant performance from them. Cannot wait to see them again tonight. So I think I may be a little bit quiet
I'm
as well,
I'm
apparently.
turning you up on TeamSpeak now.
Okay, we are sorting out the sound, guys, so don't worry about that. And in the meantime, we have got everyone in the game ready to go, so shortly we'll be starting this game, which I'm super excited for.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited to get into this. And it looks like both teams are ready. Yeah, we're getting some readies in the chat. We should be heading... Oh, we've got a no.
Blue Bear, Killing Esports as usual.
So, what kind of picks do you reckon we're expecting in this game?
Well, the one that I'm really curious about, which Birmingham played twice last week, is the Zilean support. Their support has played a lot of Zilean, and last week teams did not know how to face against the Zilean support. We had an interview at the end of Stream 2. Obviously, you were on Stream 1 last week. This is our first time casting as a duo, so looking forward to that as well.
Definitely.
But the Zilean, Nottingham, we had an interview with Nottingham's AD carry, and they said they struggled so much to face the Zilean in lane, and not a lot of lanes know how to face up against that. So I'm curious to see if that's something that will be target banned away from them, or if that's something that they might pick if it's not, just because of how good that they've been with that Zilean support.
Yeah, and I've seen that quite a bit in solo queue as well, and it does seem really, really strong. Obviously, because the extra money that supports get now, you're able to get more damage on your bombs early, and you're still able to get the wards that you require and all of that. So you can get the AP for the bombs and for the ultimate, but also you're able to get the obviously support items. But we are into the champion select now.
We are indeed, and Ari first ban, nothing really surprising there. Obviously very dominant mid laner, and we do know the mid laner is very strong on both teams, with Ari as well actually. So just been going to snatched away right there. Nothing strange about that ban at all. The other thing I want to talk about in that Zilean lane actually is the XP as well. The passive that you get from that, you do get the level advantages normally, which is very, very important and dominant in bot lane.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, many players will know if you do manage to get that level 2 or level 3 first, and if you say for example, Lucian gets a massive damage spike when he gets his second level on his Q, and also obviously things like Thresh with having the grab and the flay. If you do get the level advantage, you can go for those early engages and possibly get first blood. So very important factor.
Definitely. We see a few more bans being took now. Vi, Shyvana, and Thresh again. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Sorry. Vi and Shyvana have come out as two very dominant jungles. The Shyvana is just so tanky and so good with the ganks. The same with Vi. Her mobility is great. Thresh banned away is still always a very strong and dominant support, and we do see that Lucian ban. Lucian has been so popular since the last patch.
Yeah, definitely. And I really feel like he deserves the popularity he's been getting as well. I've been playing a lot of Lucian. I do main AD carry, and honestly, I've been absolutely stomping lanes. It's the mixture between the damage on his Q and also his passive is so strong. If you can get a Sheen, because the Sheen proc works on the second auto attack on his passive as well, so you essentially you get the extra attack on your first auto attack, but then it increases the damage on the second auto attack because the second one is half of the damage of the first auto attack, so you get the extra bonus damage from the Sheen. So it's a really strong early if you can get a Sheen first, you can get some really strong early game damage.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't played him myself. He's one of the AD carries I don't usually play as a support main, but I do definitely fear when I go against him. We have got a few lock-ins. Jarvan's been took as the first pick. Very dominant jungler, nothing really surprising there. They've just gone for the safe pick. They don't want to show any sort of mid laner or the Zilean or anything that they've seen before, and they're just going to go with the Jarvan. And on the other side, Siva Taric, my first lane I ever played. Me and my duo partner always used to play this lane in Season 2. I love Taric, my first ever main support, and it's so underrated. I cannot wait to see that lane in action, to be honest. You got any thoughts on that lane?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, back in Season 2, I think it was, Chaox had a guide out actually for Siva, and he was like hyping up the Siva Taric lane because it was so strong back then. And I feel like that lane is definitely going to come into its own early Season 4. I think both Siva and Taric possibly may be tuned down in the upcoming patches. Obviously, Taric being so popular at the minute because he can get much tankier now, and because of the new masteries and everything, he's able to, like my friend who mains Taric now, I think at level 1 he has about 66 armor, which is an incredible amount of armor at level 1. Like he barely even takes poke, so really, really strong champion as well. And because that's the shatter aura as well, it radiates to his allies, so it can make a really, really strong lane just by playing Taric alone.
Yeah, and on top of the spell shield that Sivir naturally has in her kit anyway, she's just so good as an AD carry. She can avoid a lot of damage, and her range as well, especially with that bounce now, is very, very strong. We do go over now to the Caitlyn Zyra locked in. Very, very scary bot lane there. The range is very good on both of them champions. I personally hate facing that lane when I am someone like Taric or that, because you want to get in your opponent's face, and that lane doesn't allow you to as much as you'd like to. And on top of that, we see Elise and Renekton been locked in. Renekton, very, very strong top laner, always has been for quite a while now, and Elise, very solid jungler.
Yeah, just going back onto the Zyra Caitlyn pick, I think that has definitely been picked as a counter to the Taric.
Yeah.
Obviously to the Sivir as well. With the amount of movement speed and the amount of sort of close range damage that they both do, the Zyra Brutes will really, really come in handy. And also, the magic damage that the Zyra plants do, the Taric aura won't be able to do anything against that damage. So obviously, being able to put out that counter damage if an engage does go down.
Yeah, the range is very, very good. I mean, Sivir has the spell shield for the roots and stuff, but she's going to have to time it very well in order to try and dodge the massive amounts of damage that the Caitlyn Zyra lane can do. We do have a Victor been hovered over here with 1 second left. That is actually locked in, so we do see a Victor mid here, which I haven't seen in the North for a while now. I'm really excited to see that, actually.
Yeah, Victor being actually a really strong champion that I feel is underrated. His damage potential is huge. However, he's kind of one of those champions where you'll go all in, you'll get a kill or two, but then you'll also die as well. It's a sort of a similar kind of playstyle to Morgana. You go completely ham, you'll get 1 or 2 kills, but then you'll probably die as well. But I feel like the poke in the lane is really underestimated. A lot of people won't have played against Victor very often because obviously he's not a very common pick. People underestimate how much damage his I can't remember the name of the move actually because he's played so little. His E, the Death Ray, I think it's called. The damage on that, if it hits you, does an absolutely tremendous amount of poke.
Especially with the upgraded where it does the burn damage after. I do want to point out, I have actually seen what the moves play Victor before on this team. He plays it quite a lot. I know he's known for playing these champions that aren't necessarily like known as OP or that. He likes to play things that are a little bit mysterious, and he does really well with them. On the other side, that final pick we see is Nidalee. So Nidalee has been very, very strong lately, purely because, well, not purely because, but a lot stronger since you had the nerf to the assassin meta in the mid. She's very able to poke at a range. She's got the heal for sustain. She's got the traps for vision, and in this new season, she's been a really great pick so far in mid lane. And obviously, she's picked that knowing she's going to fare against the Victor. So, how do you feel about that matchup in mid?
I think it's definitely going to be an interesting lane. I don't know. I really feel it's going to be a bit of a skill matchup. Obviously, it's going to be down to how often Nidalee can land spears. I mean, if Nidalee doesn't get any poke down, then she'll 100% lose that lane. However, if Nidalee does land those crucial spears, they do so much damage. So if she can, like for example, if she's got, say, a blasting wand or whatever, if she hits a long range spear on Victor, it'll probably take about half of his health. So at that point, she'd be able to be really aggressive in lane and possibly zone Victor out completely. Yeah. So it's really going to be dependent on how well Nidalee lands spears, but also how aggressive Victor is. I mean, if Victor goes really aggressive and manages to land stuns, gets the death rays down, gets his Q off and everything, then he could potentially snowball quite hard off the lane. So I'm very interested to see how it will go, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel the pre-6 in that matchup is very important for both champions. For them to get going, Victor needs to get going. He doesn't scale great into the late game. He does if he has kills. Obviously, if he's got the kills, if he's got the gold and he has the items, he's very, very strong. Nidalee as well, she needs the kills and the money to be that Nidalee that we know and fear with them spears where you don't want to be anywhere near them because you'll get chunked for half your health if you are. She needs to get going there. If the junglers here are both very, very good at ganking, the EQ combo from the Jarvan and you've got the root from Elise, with the web. It's going to be very, very scary pre-6, and I think that the junglers will be concentrating on this mid quite a lot because of that. Other than the mid lane, we do see the Kennen as well being picked against Renekton. Very, very good against Renekton purely because of his poke and his mobility. So I think that's a very decent pick as well. In terms of the team comps here, who do you feel has a better team comps in terms of the fights and stuff?
I definitely like the look of KVGS's team comp currently. Obviously, excuse me, they do have the Kennen ultimate, they've got the Jarvan ultimate, they've got the Zyra ultimate, along with what the Moose's ultimate and stun. I mean, that is a terrifying combo. If they can get that sort of wombo combo going, then that is going to do a lot of damage very fast with a lot of CC as well. So that is quite a scary teamfight combo.
Yeah, I think that's the main word that you said there, the CC. If we go over to the other side, they don't have quite as much there. You have the Elise with the
Cocoon.
Root. You've got, yes, with the Cocoon, you've got Tarek's stun. You've got Renekton in there as well. Obviously Renekton's very, very good at just getting in people's face and stopping them with his stuns as well, but you don't have as much AoE CC as you do with the Zyra and the Jarvan and the Kennen as well. So definitely feel if we do go into a straight up brawl in the 5v5, definitely going towards that KVGS side.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well though, I don't think we'll get straight into the teamfight phase too early, because I think Birmingham will know that their teamfight comp isn't as strong. They won't want to go straight into those teamfights. So I'll be interested to see how soon we do go into teamfights and how well Birmingham try and delay that. Obviously, they do have a Nidalee in their team, which is world-renowned for its ability to just sort of poke and siege towers, but never actually engage in a fight. And they don't have the best disengaged team, but they do have a Sivir ultimate, which is fantastic for disengaging. And like you say, they've got 3 stuns on the team, so they can disengage. So we'll have to see how they do play this game.
Definitely. If they know that they're behind in the 5v5 fights, they're in the semi-finals here. They're all very highly ranked and they've practiced a lot, so they will know that. And for anyone that is just tuning in, this is the semi-final here. This will be a best of 3. The other semi-final is going to be on our other stream, and the winner of this will play the winner of that for the grand final of this tournament. So we will see if there will be any level 1 shenanigans right now. Pretty standard builds from everyone in terms of the first items. However, you do have the double relic shield on the start of KVGS again. Took a slight nerf in terms that the support cannot execute with it anymore. So because of the base stats of the supports, it's not as good unless you can obviously time the last hits very well. But how do you feel about that against the Doran's Blade start?
I think it's an interesting pick. I mean, Caitlyn is obviously Caitlyn's going to be slightly behind on damage. I think it's fairly important, but Caitlyn does outrange Sivir anyway, so I think she should be able to keep up in poke. However, I don't think it's that strong on Zyra. Zyra currently, this Zyra in this game, currently 53 attack damage. It's going to be quite hard for Zyra to last hit those minions, and like you said, she doesn't have the execute on Relic Shield anymore, so I really don't feel that the double Relic Shield start with a ranged support is particularly strong anymore. On the other side, Tarek has gone for the Relic Shield, which I personally semi-agree on. I feel like it's a good item, and he does get the execute because he is melee, but against a Zyra Caitlyn lane, he's going to take quite a lot of punishment to get those last hits with that. I feel like possibly going coin would have been better, and then he would have got the Shirelias later in the game as well. But
yeah. There's no lane opponents that are going to be better at taking advantage of the fact that Tarek's going to want to be getting in and hitting creeps than a Caitlyn Zyra. They're going to be definitely aware of that, and they'll be no doubt taking advantage of that at every opportunity they can, which is going to be very bad for the Tarek. Obviously, you can get poked down a lot from a Caitlyn Zyra early on, and if Tarek gets poked down, you can't be that demanding force, you can't be getting in the face for the stuns with the shatter. So definitely have to see how that goes. It looks like in terms of level 1, both teams playing it a bit safe. You see Kennen putting a little bit of poke onto Renekton there, but just saying a little hello. No fight going down there. And looks like we'll just be having the normal lanes now going into the laning phase.
yeah, Jarvan starting at red though, not something you see too often. So I'll be interested to see. Oh, I was going to say I'll be interested to see if he's going to go mid, but Victor has pushed out a bit in the mid lane, so I don't think we'll be seeing an early gank there. Possibly Jarvan will make his way up to the top lane. We'll possibly see a 2v2 in the top lane a little bit later on.
Yeah, I think he's just starting that red. A lot of junglers like to just for the leash from the bot lane, so especially with the Caitlyn Zyra and that sort of range. Tarek's actually got the red trinket here as well. Obviously, Zyra's chose the yellow one for the ward, but Tarek's just annoyingly denied that first ward. They should put another one down there, so they will both be on cooldowns, but interesting to see that he has took that.
Yeah, I think almost going 2 wards almost counters going 1 ward and a sweeper, because while they'll be able to sweep 1 ward, you've immediately got your second ward again anyway. And Zyra also has a ward in her back pocket, so it's going to be hard for Tarek to be able to sweep all of the necessary wards, since between them they have 3 wards in the lane currently, plus the duo relic shield. So I think that's quite a clever pick by them to go double ward.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just trying to have a look here what this Jarvan's going to be doing. He did look like he was going to be trying to head towards mid then, but I think it's just going to go to its race now, just safely take them. In the meantime, we do see Elise hovering about top. Kennen is pushed up quite a bit here, so she may have an opportunity to possibly do a gank if he keeps on pushing.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to go for that though. It's just going to be backing off. I'm quite surprised that he didn't really go for a gank there. Kennen obviously did have that ward trinket, so he knows that there's a ward around that could be in try, but I'm surprised he didn't even try for a gank.
Yeah, definitely. But we do see the gank going down here.
Yeah, Jarvan.
You do actually see the flash from Sivir, but you will have the EQ in as well. It doesn't knock up Tarek, so they will just walk away with that.
Yeah, Tarek also using the flash though.
Yeah, so that's 2 very important summoners in that lane burnt straight away, especially when you're against the Caitlyn Zyra with that range. You want them flashes up. In the top lane, we see Renekton and Kennen just trading again, just both getting in each other's faces a little bit, and Elise is actually coming up from the river here, and Kennen's in a position where he's going to struggle from this.
Yeah, his trinket ward is actually down at the minute, so possibly going to be getting a good gank. The cocoon not quite able to land. The ignite goes down though. Very early ignite there from Renekton. It's not going to be able to get much down, obviously just the tick damage, but Kennen is going to go back from that, so Renekton going to be able to push out a little bit.
Yeah, really nice trade for the Kennen there. Just in terms of that should have either been a kill or him to force his flash. But to get the ignite out and to get away with his life, he had to force his flash, but for the ignite, it's not as bad as it could have been. So that definitely went a lot better than it could have for him there.
Yeah, definitely. So taking a look at the farm so far, Birmingham really doing it. Oh, we do have a bit of an engage going down in the bot lane.
Sorry, yeah, she gets took very weak. The exhaust comes down onto Sivir.
Oh, but Jarvan's here to save the day.
Caitlyn's tucked very low. She is forced to barrier. Very nice knock up onto the Tarek, but another stun will go down. Everyone is so low here. It does look like the kill will be picked up on Tarek for a first blood. Sivir will get the kill on Zyra as well, and the passive is there from Zyra, so she may be able to get a nice bit of damage if she chooses to. Not in range, but there's a 1-for-1 trade for the AD carries there on the support.
Yeah, but Caitlyn picking up that all-important first blood. However, Sivir is 13 CS up on Caitlyn at the minute, and she started Doran's Blade, so Sivir's damage after they've both gone back. Oh, at least getting onto Jarvan though, lands the cocoon. Yeah, he does have to flash out, followed by the EQ, but at least going to get the excellent flash, finish him off with a Venomous Bite for the 3rd kill of the game.
A little bit too ballsy there by Jarvan. He was very weak, but he chose to stay in Elise, just in a great position there to land that cocoon and to pick up that kill. Really nice play from the Elise there.
Really well played by Caitlyn there to get that much damage down on Elise. Elise getting slightly out of position, and Caitlyn really punishing her, taking about 2/3 of her health in that little bit of poke.
Yeah, and we do already see at 6 minutes, actually Birmingham taking a 1k gold lead, which is quite big at this point, just from a 1 kill advantage. But if we look at the CS in the lanes as well, they do have a slight advantage in most of the lanes, especially in that bot lane for the Sivir, which I wouldn't have expected when you're against the Caitlyn, but almost double Caitlyn CS right now.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about at the start of the game. Caitlyn and Zyra both started with the Relic Shield, whereas Sivir obviously started with the Doran's Blade, making it much easier for to last hit those minions. So I feel we're starting to see that advantage sink in, but also Tarek has 8 CS, however Zyra also has 10 CS, so I guess the gold, aside from the kills, the gold would be fairly even because Zyra is getting some of the gold from Caitlyn's CS as well as Caitlyn.
Yeah, definitely. Jarvan is making his way back towards his red buff now, so he is hovering by the spot lane. Sivir and Tarek a little bit pushed up, but quite a safe combination with the Tarek stun and the spell shield, so I don't think anything will be going down there unless they push up a lot further. I mean, if we look at these items, Sivir's already got a BF sword. Caitlyn's got her Vamp Scepter, so Sivir's got a lot of a damage spike in that lane right now.
Yeah, so really dangerous situation for Zyra and Caitlyn to be in. I mean, when you're in this situation in a bot lane, it is quite a terrifying spot to be in, because you know that if you do go in an all-out engage, then you are going to lose. Like, unless by some miracle you outplay them magically or your jungler comes, then you're pretty much definitely going to lose. I mean, that boomerang blade there taking a quarter of Caitlyn's health immediately. I mean, she does have the vamp set to pick that up, but with the Sivir ultimate and a Taric ultimate, that boomerang blade is going to absolutely chunk the blue team.
Definitely, and that's where you start getting the damage come down a lot in that Sivir Taric lane. Victor's took his bloom. We do actually see Nidalee roaming down to this bot lane now, so we could see if Taric chooses to get a stun under the tower. It looks like she's just going to be throwing a few spears, just letting them know that she's there, and she will be going back to that mid lane now though.
Yeah, obviously doesn't want What the Moose to be able to just push all day and get that turret damage down. Having a look at the items in the mid lane, Nidalee has been back. She's got that chalice and she's got a Doran's ring. What the Moose though, I don't think he's actually...
He's rushed straight for that augment death, which gives him the 30% additional burn damage on his death ray. So that is very good on a Victor. As you said, that death ray does a lot of damage, and he's rushed that to get as much damage as he can in that lane. He's actually doing really well in that lane with the CS against the Nidalee. He's not taking too much poke at all, and he's doing really well so far.
We do have a bit of an engage going down into the bot lane. Taric did manage to get the stun onto Moise. The boomerang blade doing absolutely loads of damage to Caitlyn, but not actually going to have anything happen there. I did think Jarvan was going to go for that. He did have Cataclysm available, but obviously decided not to go for that one in the end.
I definitely feel he could have been a bit more aggressive as well. He is hovering about, so he may want to be doing something again, but as you said, the damage from this Sivir is just immense at the moment. Elise has rotated down as well, and she's waiting in the brush just to pounce, just ready to pounce on anyone. Nidalee has come down as well though, so there's going to be 4 bot lane right now, and they can either take this tower or get a kill here.
Yeah, and I feel like they might be able to take this tower here. I don't think there's much KVGS can do about this one. The minions are down though, so really good pilt over by Caitlyn, taking down all 3 of those cast minions. Renekton trying to go aggressive in this top lane, but the lightning dash from Kennen, he's able to just kite all day long with that, so Renekton not able to get onto him there.
Instead, obviously, they've sent 4 men, but they need to do something of this, especially when Victor's pushed mid so much, so they are just going to rotate to Dragon and take Dragon here. Victor's got this mid turret under half health, so he's got a nice bit of damage on. It does look like they're going to try and see if they can do anything to stop it, but they're not in a position to. They are too weak, so this first Dragon will go to Birmingham here. Yeah,
and that just extends that gold lead. I mean, they were already almost 1,000 ahead, so now they're like 1,100 ahead, so really, really close game so far, but Birmingham just taking a slight edge in this game.
Yes, by all means, it's still only 1k. We do see the flash stun though. Zyra is flashing as well. She does manage to get out of range for the kill. She is taking
damage on the boomerang blade on Moise there.
If she hadn't flashed, then she would have been dead. That boomerang blade took her down to almost dead anyway. One auto attack would have finished her off, but really nice reactions there to flash while that stun is in the air.
Yeah. So really, really good play by Birmingham in this bot lane. Really starting to show their dominance in this lane. I mean, look at the CS difference. So Sivir currently 30 CS up. But we do have a gank coming down in the mid lane. The Cocoon, unfortunately, not able to hit. What the Moose is going to all onto Nidalee. Does manage to get the kill. Now Jarvan's here. Don't know if What the Moose is going to be able to survive. Cataclysm goes down, but Elise is going to flash. What the Moose also flashes. And Elise not going to be able to pick up that kill onto What the Moose. And he's able to pick up a 1-for-0 in that trade.
Do see top lane as well trading. Renekton goes quite deep into Kennen. He does pop his ignite. Kennen is taken very, very low, but the last tick will not finish him off. He's sitting on 17 health there, and he's just going to recall. Yes, he does get the recall before Renekton manages to go. Now, What the Moose played very well there to get away from the Elise. The death ray just missed. I feel if the death ray hit with that burn, then Jarvan perhaps could have gone in, just took 1 or 2 tower shots and got the kill. But they just left it and they didn't pick up the kills there, so not too bad for them, and a nice escape by What the Moose.
Yeah, really, really well played by What the Moose. I'm quite impressed by that play. And taking a look at the gold after those trades, Birmingham again extending their lead by a tiny little bit. So although it's still such a close game, Birmingham just gradually extending this gold lead, so I'll be interested to see if they can start to snowball this. Sivir has now finished her Bloodthirster. Caitlyn only just gone back. She has now picked up a BF sword, but Caitlyn with the BF sword and a Vamp Scepter versus Sivir with a full Bloodthirster and that extra Doran's Blade that she's had since the start. So Caitlyn really starting to fall behind in damage.
And when you look at her CS and how free she's been to just be able to go in CS, it's not going to take her long to get them stacks in that Bloodthirst and maximise it even more. Jarvan is just getting his red now. Sivir, Taric and Nidalee are quite close though, so they are just going to back away from that. And it looks like they're going to rotate the 4 to mid now.
Yeah, it looks like we're possibly going to have an engage going down in the mid lane. Caitlyn maybe will want to stay bot and try and catch up on this farm a little bit, but Sivir, obviously, they already have that tower in the bot lane. She's 40 farm up on Caitlyn, so she can basically roam wherever she wants, and if Purple Team want to force this mid tower, then they can, and I don't think there's much that KVGS can do about this.
Yeah, definitely. Again, just Kennen and Renekton have still, for this solid 15 minutes almost, just been trading blows at top lane. Renekton's slightly ahead on CS, but there hasn't been any kills there, and they haven't actually moved from that lane so far. There is a pause going on here, so we'll just wait and see what this is. I don't think it should be too long, but this gives us a little time to talk about the game so far. This top lane hasn't done much in terms of roam, because obviously if one leaves, doesn't get the kill and goes behind on that CS, it's very, very impactful for that lane. Kennen's got his Seeker's Arm Guard building up towards that Sonya's first item, and Renekton is already so tanky. If you look at his items already, he's already got the Null Magic Mantle and the Spectre's Cowl to stop that AP damage coming down from Kennen. And when he joins these team fights, he's going to be quite a scary force there.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd just like to point something really key in this game out. Caitlyn and Zyra both started with the Relic Shields, so that Zyra would have more gold than Taric. But looking at the gold currently, Taric is on more gold than Zyra, so actually starting with that second Relic Shield put them at a disadvantage. They've literally not gained anything from it because Zyra is behind Taric now. So they lost the damage early game, they lost the sustain early game, and they didn't gain enough gold from it.
And as you said, not just the supports, but that Caitlyn starting the Targon's Brace as well. This has forced her, she didn't get that Doran's Blade, and now when you look at her item, she hasn't finished a single item yet. While as we said, this Civ is sitting on that Doran's Blade and that fully made Bloodthirster. It really hurts her damage as well. If they would have got the gold, it would have been worth it, but definitely hasn't worked out for them so far.
Yeah, and Sivir currently over 1,000 gold ahead, and it looks like we might be trying to push a tower in the mid lane. This middle tower is very low for Birmingham, so KVGS, I think, going to be trying to force some objectives and get the gold much more in their favour again.
Yeah, probably just going to try and clear this minion wave, step back a little bit. Renekton is actually coming down now for Birmingham. He's decided it's time to get in on the action and join these fights. Once he's here, without Kennen, I don't really know if KVGS can actually hold this tower.
Yeah, I thought he was going to come down. I feel like they probably might have been able to dive that with Renekton. He did have a giant spell, but Renekton is going to head up back to the top lane. Doesn't want to miss all that farm that is at his tower right now.
Sivir's gone back bot as well, so that actually leaves KVGS in a position where they can push, because suddenly it's only 3 people bot lane.
Yeah, and it looks like this tower is going to go down for KVGS.
Yeah, so that's another 150 gold for them there, just to catch up. So still about 1k gold in favour of Birmingham, but KVGS still in this. They've got a lot of pressure on the map at the moment, so still in a very good position for both teams to take this.
Yeah, definitely anyone's game at this stage. Taking another look at the farm, What the Moose starting to take a lead against Nidalee now. He is just over 10 farm up on Nidalee, so, and as well as that kill as well, he's starting to build up this gold lead. He's only 300 gold ahead at the minute, but if he can start to snowball that, if he can get an item up on Nidalee, he has just finished his Sorcerer's Boots, and he does have that Haunting Guise as well, so he'll start to be able to do some real damage to Nidalee. And like I was saying in the pre-game lobby, Victor has an incredibly large amount of burst, but it looks like we've got a bit of a fight going on in the top lane. No, they are just going to back off. They are just trading blades. I wasn't sure if we were going to see some ultimates being popped, but they are just going to back away again.
They're literally just playing a game of chicken. They're just jumping in each other's face, slapping each other about a bit, and then backing out and just going back to CSing. There is a lot of poke coming down from this Nidalee here, and that is very important right now, because Dragon's spawning in 30 seconds. If KVGS take too much damage from these Nidalee spears, they're not going to be able to contest this Dragon.
Yeah,
so
and it looks like
see them actually backing off.
Zyra is going to be heading back to base. I think they do know that Dragon is going to be up soon. They want to be prepping for that. Currently, nobody has vision of the actual Dragon itself. We do have one pink ward for KVGS, but that's all of the vision that we have down there. We have a couple of awards for Birmingham as well, but none of them actually at Dragon Pit, so we'll have to see if either team does go for that immediately, or if, I mean, Dragon is up now. It has been pinged by both teams.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens here.
A really nice ward from Kinksy there on the Jarvan. He got the ward in the Tribris as that Sivir was there, trying to get that cannon as he recalled. So really nice spot from him there, but it does look like Birmingham will be the first to secure the dominance on this dragon, and it's already dead virtually. So that is the second dragon going to Birmingham, and they're at a 2.5k gold lead now. A really nice pickup for them.
Yeah, so Birmingham starting to snowball that lead. At the start, they were only getting tiny little bit of gold extra, but now they're really starting to snowball it. And Sivir consistently out-farming Caitlyn. She's now 50 CS ahead of Caitlyn, so this is a really dangerous spot for KVGS. Obviously, AD carry being such a large portion of your team's damage. If your AD carry is really far behind, especially on a champion that like Caitlyn that's quite item reliant, but we do have a fight going on in the top lane. Kennen has used his ultimate, but he's getting very low. Renekton, obviously with that dominance, is able to really bully people, and I think Renekton might be able to just finish his tower. He is going to die for it, and he's able to kill Kennen. He did use that ignite there right at the end, and he's able to take this tower as well, so really well played by Relinquish.
Yeah, I feel that was a little bit of a misplay from the Kennen. If you actually saw the start of that engage, Kennen just face pushed the brush. That he knew Renekton was in there, but he just face checked the brush. Just walked straight into the stun. He got took very low, popped his ultimate before Renekton even popped his. Once Renekton had popped his, the health regen from it just took him straight back up to half health, and he could dive that tower no problem. Really nice pickup for Renekton there, and that's an even more of gold lead now for Birmingham. We see almost 4k gold lead. Snowballing isn't as hard as it was, well, as big as it is now in this patch. Obviously with the dragon scaling, with the jungle scaling, with the gold and that, it's easier to catch up, but still you do not want to be behind 4k at 18
Yeah,
minutes.
definitely not. And Zyra unfortunately getting caught, but what the moves, absolutely bursting Tarek down there. The Zyra ult did stop anyone getting away, and the ace in the hole going down on Elise, but she's able to repel out of that. But the Death Ray doing so much damage to Elise, and now Renekton has come down to the mid lane, but I don't know what Birmingham can do to stop this push. Now there is 4, but Zyra is going to go back. They're not going to try and push in towers from this one. They are just going to back away, but that is a 2-for-0 for KVGS.
Really nice fight from KVGS there. If you look at the Victor, he did not get damaged at all that fight. They tried to focus the Zyra, they didn't kill the Zyra. Meanwhile, Victor was free to just rain his damage upon all of them, picked up the double kill, still after the fight was poking as well, still now doing huge amounts of damage, and they can't be focusing the Zyra when you have a Caitlyn and that Victor, who's now got very scary items. He's building up towards that Leandris, he's got the 30% damage on his burn, and obviously that gives flat AP as well, so really scary right now. He's 3-0.
Yeah, really well played by What the Moose to get this far ahead. And also 25 farm up on Nidalee as well. So taking a look at his gold, he is actually 700 gold ahead of Nidalee now. So quite a significant lead. And that is going to be giving him that extra damage. Looks like he is going to be going for an early Void Staff. Quite an interesting build. I guess that's to counter the Chalice that Nidalee has built. And also against the MR that Renekton has been building. So
yeah,
I'll be interested to see if that does pay off for him.
The Athenes, obviously, that will make him more dominant in the mid game, but because Kennen's forced the Renekton to rush so much MR early on, that will be really good as well for the Void Staff. We do see a slight engage here. Jarvan does go in, but he doesn't get the knock-up, and they just turn this straight around. Tarek's in there with his ultimate and the shatter. Jarvan's taken very low. There is a few flashes from What the Moose to escape. He will get away, but Moist is picked up as well. It's a double kill for Jarvan. Sivir's a little bit caught out there, though. She will get hit by a tower in between Victor and tower. Do not want to be between there, and Victor will get picked off from the Renekton as well. The K ult will finish him off, and it just looks like an all-out brawl here. We do see the kill picked up on Kennen. Tarek goes down as well, and I don't think Caitlyn does want to go in any deeper than this. But wow, what a fight! I mean, ever since we saw Sivir stuck between that tower and the Victor, where do you go there?
Yeah, what an incredible team fight. I mean, a 3-for-4 at only 20 minutes into the game. What a team fight. Renekton playing really well there, picking up a triple kill. But one thing I'd like to point out as well, Caitlyn picking up a double kill in that fight, Sivir not, only picking up assists. So closing that gold gap between the AD carries, now only 1,000 gold ahead of Caitlyn, and she was almost I think
Yeah.
I think she was about 1,700 ahead before. So
It was
really
two very
well played.
strange engages there. Jarvan failed his engage, he didn't get the knock-up, was forced to flash away. Birmingham then dove the tower, picked up the double kill from Renekton, but they hadn't had any minions, they were all taking a lot of tower hits there. That's how Caitlyn came in, picked up the kills in the range because they were all stuck into the tower with the damage. So then you did have an almost even trade, but wasn't two great engages from either team, but a 3-for-4 trade, and the gold now just over 4k still for Birmingham, and that's purely now in objectives. They're 2 towers ahead, they're 2 dragons ahead, and they are out CSing in every lane.
Yeah, so Birmingham
Not
doing
in every, sorry.
not in every lane, no.
In most lanes, yes, no. Not in that mid lane though.
Top and bot obviously are still maintaining those CS leads. Sivir only sort of maintaining that 50 CS lead, not getting any further ahead, but Kennen able to get that top tower, so closing that gold gap ever so slightly. But the Cocoon does manage to land onto Zyra. The stun from Tarek to follow up as well, and Renekton's here, but the Zyra ult does hit 3, but she is going to go down, and that's just going to be a free kill for Birmingham, and there's not really anything KVGS can do about that.
A little bit caught out there. They didn't have great vision, and because there was that many members of Birmingham there, they did really get caught out. Nice ult from Zyra to try and save the Caitlyn. I feel she would have been saved anyway, but walked away with a free pick up there, which is just going to add to the dominance Birmingham have. Dragons coming up in 5 seconds, and again, they're not in a position where they can be contested. They're just going to take this dragon, walk away with even more of a gold lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kennen not even going to be able to push that top lane, as he knows that Renekton's on his way back. He wouldn't have been able to get that tower, so a really unfortunate situation for KVGS there. They couldn't contest the dragon, and they couldn't take a tower for it either, so really unfortunate situation.
Yeah, the problem now with this Kennen and Renekton being top lane for so long, not doing anything, when Renekton did come down, he had the kill advantage, which made Kennen struggle in lane, but he hasn't been in that top lane for a while now. Kennen was getting out CS, but he's now actually evened up on CS, and he's getting the chance now to catch up. I don't feel they should be leaving this Kennen to farm freely like that, especially when they could kill him or, you know, try and force him out of lane so much. But we'll have to see how he scales into the late game and how he does moving on from this point. And right now we just see Birmingham have, look at the ward vision at bot in their jungle. They have complete control of this map right now.
Yeah, and that is such a scary spot to be in, and I don't think KVGS realise quite how many wards there are in their red jungle. I mean, able to take their own red buff, even with all these wards, I'm quite surprised that there was nothing done about that. I mean, I think everyone went back just before that happened, so Jarvan's sort of getting a little bit lucky there to get that red buff, and it looks like Birmingham are wanting to push mid. We've got KVGS pushing bot to counter this, but I think they might lose a mid tower for this.
Yeah, they are going to lose this tower. I just quickly want to point out that Tarek's picked up the Iceborne Gauntlet first item. Something I wasn't quite expecting, but still, it gives him the armor, it gives him the slow and the CDR. We do see a little bit of a poke war going on in the mid now. Nidalee, this is when Nidalee's scary, when you've got these siege points and she's free to throw these spears and do a lot of damage, especially when she's got the items she has right now.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about in the pre-game as well. Nidalee is the king of sieging, or queen, I guess, of sieging. I mean, look at that damage from that spear. That is well over a third of what the Moose's health. She just needs to land 1 or 2 spears before the fight, and if she does that, Renekton can tank the tower all day long. He's got his Sunfire Cape, and he's got a Spirit Visage as well for that extra regen from his ult. So it's a really scary spot for KVGS here to defend against this.
Ultimates up as well, so they are in a very scary position. KVGS can't really do much here. The lanes are all pushing against them. Their bot lane is pushing up, but they can't fight this. All they need to do, or all they can do, is try and engage it directly, but they're at the point now where they're behind and they're straight up 5v5. They will probably lose anyway unless they get really nice engage or catch someone out.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen for KVGS is they need Birmingham to dive them, and if they do, and Kennen can get a really good ult, Zyra can get a really good ult, Jarvan can get a really good ult, and what the Moose can get a really good ult, then they can almost definitely win a team fight, but they have to get those ults in combination or it won't work out for them.
Definitely. I mean, it's not a massive lead still. Even 1 or 2 good ults could change this. It's only 4k. We've seen teams come back from a lot worse, but against this siege they need to do something. The ults are key here. If the CC ults can go down, then Birmingham won't be able to do anything. The Kennen ultimate now, because Kennen is starting to join these fights, are going to be absolutely crucial. If he misses that, or if he gets caught out and doesn't pop it, that's going to be a lost fight for KVGS straight up. We do actually see pings here for Baron coming out from Birmingham.
So Birmingham
Do you know what?
looking to be trying to control the vision of Baron here, and
Yeah, I was just about to say, KVGS have no vision of this. They don't know what is actually going on right now.
unfortunately, Birmingham not having any wards to get that either, but 3 of them are going back, so it looks like they are going to be trying to get some more wards and get vision control of Baron, and that is a really scary situation for KVGS, especially if they don't even realise it's going on. If they notice it, Baron Pit is the perfect place for KVGS to fight. They want to fight at Baron Pit. However, if Birmingham can get a free Baron here, then that is it's a game changer, and when they're already this far ahead, it's a really scary spot.
Definitely, and it looks like they are still trying to put this pressure down towards the Baron area. We do have a few wards down in there now for KVGS. They're not as blind as they were. They managed to, while Birmingham were recalling, managed to get a few wards down, but they still don't have any wards of the Baron itself. So Birmingham, can easily bait this Baron or take it.
Oh, Kennen possibly getting caught out. The Cocoon not quite able to land there. Lightning Rush able to get him out of that situation, but they do now know that Birmingham are hovering around the Baron Pit, so we're possibly going to see a team fight coming up. Elise looking like she wants to throw a Cocoon. Caitlyn nearly getting caught there, but she's just on the very edge of the range. A Nidalee Spear going down. Birmingham able to take away KVGS's blue buff, and Jarvan is going to go completely ham here. Kennen using his ultimate in this team fight. Tariq getting really low. He's able to flash out, but he's stuck in the blue now. Victor and Jarvan both going down, and it looks like a really bad team fight for KVGS here. Kennen goes down as well to the Renekton. Elise getting really low, just misses the Cocoon, but Zyra not going to be able to do anything here. And that is a straight up 5-0 ace for Birmingham, and they're not even going to go for the Baron, they're just going to go straight for the mid lane.
Yeah, what a great fight from Birmingham. This is the power of Renekton now. When he's been at the top, he's got 240 farms, 6 kills. He still is full health after his ultimate. KVGS didn't know who to focus there. You look at the team, no one's below half health. They were completely spread out, they didn't have any focus, and Birmingham just completely took advantage of that. And really great ace from them. They're going to take inhib now. I don't know if they'll go to Dragon and play it a little bit safe. It looks like they don't really want to get caught out. Looks like they're just going to recall straight up actually. But they're choosing not to go for that Baron, as you said. They're just going to take inhib and back out, and we do see almost a 9k, over a 9k goal difference now.
Yeah, and I really feel like that was lack of communication from KVGS. Jarvan really sort of went a bit too ham there. He just kind of went crazy, just completely went in, and his team wasn't in any position to follow up properly. Kennen really not managing to land his ult on as many people as he'd like. A lot of damage went down on Tariq, but Tariq is really not a target you want to focus. I mean, he's naturally tanky anyway, but then he doesn't really do much damage, so even if you do kill him, which is unlikely because he's so tanky, I mean, he survived the whole fight anyway, even if you do kill him, you're not actually gaining much from killing him.
Yeah, the Kennen, as you said, he didn't get his full ult down. He tried to flash him, but it wasn't the best. He tried to catch some... He was on the other side of the wall, so he couldn't get everyone in that ultimate. It was quite bad. I don't think he even popped his Zhonya's. No, we don't see it on cooldown. So, as I said, the Kennen ults and any of the AoE ults are so crucial, and when you do not land them, and when you're in a position that doesn't catch everyone, or you just mess it up, it's going to throw these team fights.
Yeah, and I think Jarvan perhaps going like a bit panicky and knowing that they're in a bad situation. Jarvan ahead again, going ahead of his team. What the Moose getting so low there, but picking up the double kill. Really well played by him and Kennen, able to get that. I'm amazed that he survived that. And Caitlyn getting loads of damage down on this Nidalee. It's not warded though, so not able to finish that kill off, unfortunately. But KVGS picking up 2 kills there, sorry.
I thought Jarvan was going to get caught out there actually, but no, him and What the Moose managing to turn that around and pick up 2 kills for nothing. They are quite weak now, which you don't want to be against the Nidalee. Again, this is so hard when you're trying to take a tower and you've got the Nidalee spears coming in. It does look like Renekton's going to go in here. We do see him go in, he gets a really nice stun, but the ultimate from Zyra will force him away, and it looks like KVGS want to back out of this. They're all very weak. You've got a Renekton and a Nidalee chasing you. You don't want to fight this when you're all under half health.
Oh, that Nidalee spear
Really
so
nice spear.
close to killing Caitlyn. I want to see how much HP she is on. She's on 80 HP, but I'm pretty sure it was lower than that. And the spear doing well over half of Zyra's HP there. I mean,
And this
even
is the power of Nidalee. They're just going to go to Baron now because of that damage.
yeah, and
KVGS
under that tower, that was a
has to
3v5, and KVGS had to back out of that one because of the damage coming out from Nidalee and how scary Renekton is right now. He's got Black Cleaver, he's got Spirit Visage, he's got Sunfire Cape, he's got Merc Treads, and he's building towards. He's almost got his Randuins. When he goes back now, I think he can afford a Randuins. Yes, he can.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he is so tanky right now, and with the damage from Sivir and from Nidalee, there's really scary for KVGS. I don't think there's much they can do about this.
And this now, after that last engage, after that Baron, this is where it starts getting difficult for us to talk about how KVGS can get back into this game. They need to make something happen, and they need to do it fast, because the longer they drag this game out at the moment, the more in favour it's going to be for Birmingham. Saying that, I don't know if they can even engage with this Baron though. I mean, the sustain that Birmingham are going to have, this Nidalee is going to be able to throw spears even without blue and not have to worry about mana, and it's going to be so hard for KVGS to hold this push that's going to be coming towards their base right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Birmingham are going to want to rotate down to the bot lane now, and I definitely agree with this decision. They've got the I say they've got the inhibitor in the mid lane. It is about to respawn, but if they can force a second inhibitor as well, and then possibly rotate down to the top, or up to the top, sorry, and force a third inhibitor as well, that is how you secure games. Instead of just going with the one inhibitor and trying to force the base, trying to force the team fights, you can quite easily, when you've got this kind of lead, force these towers, and there's really not a lot the enemy team can do about it. I mean, they're 10k gold ahead right now. The last thing KVGS wants right now is a team fight.
Really caught out here though, actually, sorry.
Yeah,
He's
Kennen
running to
going
try and get them.
in on him there, but Tarek able to walk away from that one completely fine.
They were very scared about engaging that, even if it was 4 against 1 and then the 1 is a Tarek, they still didn't want to engage that. So Tarek just walking freely out of there, a little bit of poke, but at this point in the game, Tarek's heal was very strong, especially with that Iceborne Gauntlet. That AP is going to help it scale a little bit more. But Birmingham here, they're all 5 in KVGS's jungle, and they need to be very careful here, because they're just going to walk up to mid with this open inhib and take this again. We may see a fight go down here.
Yeah, and I don't know if we actually will, unless Jarvan goes in now, because I really don't feel like KVGS want this fight. Renekton is going to go in though, manages to land onto a nice Sprite. A nice Sprite managing to kite fairly well, but I think he is going to go down. Renekton diving the towers, but Kennen getting a really good ultimate off, getting quite a lot of damage down, but Caitlyn able to pick up the kill on Renekton. Kennen managing to kill Sivir, but Kennen does go down to the Nidalee, so that's 2 kills for Birmingham and only 1 kill for KVGS. What the move's using is Zonya's there, but he is now going to get stunned by Renekton. Not quite going to go down. The Jarvan coming in, but the heal from Tarek and Nidalee at the last second there, bringing him up.
Very strong, but I actually feel, if anything, that was KVGS's best fight all game. That was exactly what they want. Renekton wasn't in that fight. He completely just chased after the Caitlyn. Caitlyn was sectioned off, but without Renekton there, what the Moose is free to just do a lot of damage. Frank and Fran got a really nice ultimate on the Kennen, but still they came out behind because of the Baron buff and because of how far behind they are. And with them coming out that behind in that fight, I really feel bad for them in terms of what's going to happen in the next fight, when Birmingham have backed and bought their next items, because at the minute they really are struggling. They're still picking up a great fight, and what the Moose still doing a lot of damage at this point in the game. But this Caitlyn, she's still only got the 2 items complete. If we look at the Sivir's items and the Caitlyn's items, there's such a massive difference.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I'd like to point out, what the Moose is actually ahead of the Nidalee right now, but it really feels like Nidalee's ahead just because of the amount of damage she can put out with those spears and the amount that she's able to poke. I feel like just a straight up solid engage from KVGS might actually be better for them than the way they are going about these fights. They're sort of letting themselves get poked down a bit before the fights happen, and because of this, Nidalee's able to get that damage down. Nidalee's not actually that good of a team fighter. She's really good at poke, but when it comes to team fights, obviously she can't do those long range spears the same as she can when she's sieging, for example. So I feel like they need to go, and Jarvan is clearly listening to me, go straight in the Zyra ult as well, the Kennen ult on top of it. What a wombo combo. Jarvan does go down, but Tarek goes down as well. And Sivir getting really low here. I don't know if she's going to go down. Zyra again, that auto attack. The red buff's down. Sivir only just using her ultimate for some reason. I don't know why that wasn't used earlier in the fight. Sivir able to get away from that one.
Yeah, that was a 4v5, I just want to point out. Renekton was top that whole time. So even in a 4v5, they used everything there. They Kennen ult hit everyone chasing after them. They got a perfect Cataclysm, and still they walked away with 1 kill, and all very weak. So if they needed to pick up kills, it was then. They are going to go quite hard onto this Renekton though, under the tower. But Renekton at this point, if you look at his items, he's just going to take this tower, and this is nothing but a little tickle for him here.
Yeah. He is so tanky right now. I mean, Zyra and Kennen using everything here, and he can just quite happily walk away from that on half HP and just not even be worried. So Renekton's so scary right now. And like you say, that was a 4v5. They used everything, and they were only able to pick up 1 kill. And Sivir didn't even use her ult until she was escaping. If she'd used her ult in that fight, it might not have even gone a 1-for-0. It might have been in Birmingham's favour. So perhaps a slight misplay by Sivir, but on the other side of that, I guess they didn't expect to be fighting, so she might have wanted to save that ult to disengage.
Definitely, I don't think they did want it, because as I said, that Renekton was up top and they knew it was a 4v5, and at this point in the game, when it's this late on, you do not want to throw a game, because them respawn timers are very long. So I don't think that they really did want to engage that there, but the ultimates coming out from KVGS forced that to happen. Really nice Jarvan ult, really nice Kennen ult. They got the 1 kill, but all in all, Birmingham still walked away with that quite unscratched. Baron is coming up in under a minute now, and we do see both teams trying to get presence in these lanes and around this Baron area so they can contest it.
Yeah, so quite a difficult spot for KVGS. I'm really sort of struggling to see an end result where KVGS win at the minute. They are now 11,500 gold behind. That is such a huge difference. But on the other side of that, the longer the game goes on now, the less the gold difference matters. People are starting to get to their end game builds.
They need to stop eating these spears. Nidalee is half healthing everyone other than Jarvan right now with these spears. Really nice catch.
Oh, and we are gonna
stun will go onto him. He's taken below half health. Kennen does get a really nice ult in and actually stuns 4 people, but I don't know whether it will be enough. Renekton pops his ultimate as well, going very heavily on What the Moose. What the Moose will go down. Jarvan is going to go down as well as the Kennen. Sivir actually manages to get caught as well though, so that's quite a big damage dealer here took down, but still 4 of them alive, and Renekton is still getting more HP as this goes on, even though it's took solo.
Yeah, so Renekton just being so tanky and having so much sustain from that Tiamat and the Spirit Visage, and he's gonna flash for the stun onto a nice sprite. Really well played by him, and he's able to pick up the kill onto the Caitlyn. And it looks like that might be the end of the game. I think this is going to go over to Birmingham.
Really nice cocoon from Elise there to pick that Caitlyn up. And the Nidalee spears, they can't go near them. So this will be the first game here going towards Birmingham in a very dominant performance here. This is a best of 3, guys, so this will be 1-0 going towards Birmingham. If they win the next game, they will be in the finals. If KVGS take the next game, which they need to stay in it, then it will go to a 3rd game. But very strong showing from Birmingham there, and really great game. What are your impressions from that?
Well, it was an incredibly close game to begin with, and for a very long time it was a very close game.
Yeah.
But then, I can't remember exactly what minute it was at, but it seemed like Birmingham just flicked a switch and suddenly became dominant. And at that point, it seemed to just be that they were like, no, this is our game, we're going to win this one. And there really wasn't a lot that KVGS could do about it.
Definitely. I mean, they started by going slightly ahead. It was 2k, it was 1k. After a few dragons, it was 3k. I think that's the main thing that helped them snowball. They completely controlled the objectives. They took towers everywhere. They moved a lot better as a group. Birmingham started grouping and moving. We saw 4 bot. We saw them rotate to dragon. We then saw them go to mid. And meanwhile, KVGS still had everyone going to lane. You saw Caitlyn going to bot when they were trying to defend mid. You saw Renekton come down for the team fight and Kennen stay top. That they were a little bit disorganised, and Birmingham were able to take advantage of that, take all of these objectives, and then suddenly it's not 2 or 3k gold ahead, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're just building up and up, and that allows them to win these team fights, and they manage to take the game in a really strong fashion.
Yeah, definitely. And I think really well played by Caitlyn, obviously, not Caitlyn, sorry, Siva, obviously, able to really dominate in that laning phase, got so far ahead on the CS against the Caitlyn, and also the Renekton, 8-1 and 8, really, really well played by him, got so tanky so early, and really sort of, when he, in that first sort of middle team fight where they dived, and it was a 3-for-4, Renekton picked up that triple kill right at the start, and I really feel like he was a massive deciding factor in that fight, and really that sort of sealed that lead for Birmingham at that stage.
Yeah, when you're a Kennen against a Renekton, when you've got that lane, the whole point of the Renekton is not necessarily to get kills in lane, but the fact that you can bully so much in lane that you are free to CS and build these tanky items, and you get so scary in the game. When you're a Kennen into that, you have the poke advantage, you need to do the damage and stop that from happening, whether it's getting kills or forcing the Kennen out of lane. But that didn't happen. This Renekton, if anything, he out-CS'd the Kennen, he got the kill on Kennen first, he dominated that lane, and he got so tanky and so much gold from that, that when he joined these team fights, he was completely dominant. He would be taken to half health after being focused the whole fight, he'd pop his ultimate and he'd go straight back up to 100% health, and they'd used everything on him. He was very, very, very strong late game, and as you said, definitely a dominant force and one of the deciding factors there.
Yeah. One very interesting thing I've just noticed, Taric not actually upgrading from the Targon's Brace. Obviously, Targon's Brace gives you the health, gives you health regen, and obviously the gold income at the start of the game, but not upgrading that to the face of the mountain. Obviously, not feeling that he needed to give his team that extra shield, and felt like it was more worthwhile to go for that Frozen Fist, Iceborne Gauntlet, sorry, and the Locket of the Iron Solari. So
Definitely.
An interesting decision.
I sometimes do this when I play Taric, purely because when you go up to the Targon's Brace, you're doing it mainly for the stacks in lane, because obviously the more stacks you have, the more gold you can get. It's a lot of gold to upgrade it to the face of the mountain, so obviously he chose to spend that elsewhere, because it doesn't give you any extra stacks. It gives you a little bit cooldown, and it gives you that shield, but they weren't in a position where they needed shields at that point. Who would he have used it on? Siva has a spell shield, and she was at the back in all the fights. Renekton certainly didn't need another shield, so I think that they thought that getting the other items would have been more strong, so he obviously chose to go that, and it worked out well for him in the end. Still, that Iceborne Gauntlet, not what we would have expected, definitely. When I first saw that, I had to look again just to be sure, but not a bad item on him at all. It allows his heals to be very strong, it gives him some armor, it gives him the cooldown, and it gives him the slow on the auto attacks, and when he's in a position where he's quite tanky and that can actually get into their faces, that is quite a good thing to have.
Yeah, definitely. And it also, it stacks with his passive. It basically makes his passive area of effect almost. So really, really strong item actually. So I think we are going to head into a little 5-minute break as we set up the next game. I'll put on some music and join us again in 5 minutes, and we'll be heading into game 2 of this best of 3 in the semi-finals for the